Jarrod Fletcher. So I've known Steve now for well over 30 years. I first met Steve when I was 10 years old, and my older brother actually fought Greg Eady. So that was my introduction to Steve and Greg and the whole sort of Fortitude team many moons ago. So things sort of started picking up with Steve sort of around Olympic time. I was in talks with Danny Green leading up to the Olympics, and I was going to go pro with Danny Green. But that sort of, I fought at the Olympics, didn't get the result I wanted, and so I was back sort of in touch with, trying to get in touch with Greeny, and he was actually going on Dancing with the Stars at the time. So it all sort of it all went to shit. So, and I was lost, and I was speaking with Eady quite a bit, and Eady said, give Steve a call. So I rang Steve up, and within a couple of days I'd moved down. I was living in at Steve's house, and Steve sort of put me up at his place, and sort of we got into it, and then sort of the rest is history from there. But it, what a ride it's been, you know. It's sort of, I had a massive sort of amateur career. I had 180 amateur fights. Went to 2 Commonwealth Games, 1 Olympic Games. I won a gold at the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne. So sort of, I was very fortunate in that, you know, I got to travel the world and do some pretty cool stuff. But I ended up having a lot of injuries along the way as well. So it was, I look back at my boxing career now, it was the greatest thing I've ever done, but it was so hard, and no one will ever understand when I say that how hard it was for me. My body was broken from very early in my career, so it was sort of hard to get through. But I moved in with, like I said, I moved in with Steve, and we got rolling. You know, I had my first pro fight, my second pro fight, my third pro fight. I won the Papa title, my third pro fight, and then leading into my fourth fight, which would have been my first defence of the title, I last week out from a sparring, I dislocated my shoulder. So that was the second time. I just had surgery on it. I've done it again. I needed to go in for another surgery. Had that done again. Went back fighting again. I had another few fights, then I've done it again. So I ended up having three recos on the right shoulder. So it was a battle, like I said. But Steve was there. Steve was my rock the whole way through. You know, I had Steve behind me. I was fortunate enough where Steve got Brian Webb from C&W, Samuels and all that. They sponsored me. So I was a full-time boxer. I've been a full-time boxer since I was a kid pretty much. You know, it's sort of, boxing was my whole life, and that, from the age of 10, that's all I knew. I loved boxing. Boxing was, that was everything to me.